Hello, everybody. This is Brian Terry with the Conservative Covered Call Trading Group, and I wanted to go over two different trades with you today from last week. One was a winning trade. The other didn't turn out quite as good, but I wanted to share, not only the good trades, but also things that didn't work and what we could learn from them. So my first trade was in an ETF, XME, and I liked this trade because it was in a nice uptrending pattern. It met what we look for in terms of a minimum return of 0.5% per week or 24% annualized. And we were able to sell calls well below the support levels. And it was a sector that we were pretty happy to be in. So we put the trade on, and here's just a chart of XME. And you can see really from all through December, it just rallied really nicely. And this red line here is actually where I sold the call. That was our call for the trade. And here's the actual trade alert. We bought the shares at $44.83 per share. And then we sold the January 7 43.50 call and received $1.58 credit. So that would be $158 per 100 shares. So the return was a 0.58% in 7 days. And we had about 3.5% of downside protection. So annualized, it was a 26.37% return. And the break even was 43.25, and the exit level, just as a kind of a trade management, was at 41. So if the stock had moved below 41, we would have exited the trade. So the trade turned out just fine. The stock moved up higher after the entry. It did move down as low as 45.05 for the week, but ended the week at 46, and the shares were called away. So we made our profit objective on that particular trade. So the second trade was in CF. So the stock was moving higher since early December, and it had a really nice rate of return, good downside protection. So we went ahead and placed the trade, and here's a copy of the chart. So you can see where it really had kind of run up into the end of December. It pulled back a little bit, and we put the trade on, on January 4th. So we sold a call. Here's the actual trade alert. We bought the shares at $71.65 per share, sold the 70 call, and received $203 in credit. So it was a 0.55% return in 4 days, 2.83% downside protection. It was a nice annualized rate of return for a 4-day trade of 40% annualized. And our break even was 69.62, meaning that the stock could have dropped all the way down to 69.62 before we started to lose money on the trade. And our stop loss, or exit level, was 66. So the stock finished the first week, January 7th, above 70. So we collected the entire credit. And I went ahead and sold a second call for January 14th and collected an additional 40 cents credit. Unfortunately, the stock moved below our exit level, so I closed the trade on January 14th for $64.45. So it was a loss of $477 per 100 shares, a 6.85% loss. But looking back, if I had just bought the shares, it would have been a $720 loss. So I guess the good news out of the story is, by selling the calls, we were able to reduce the loss on the trade by 1/3. So in summary, last week I closed out 6 in the money covered calls, 5 winners, 1 losing trade. And in hindsight, on that CF trade, the chart pattern really wasn't ideal. It looked like it kind of faltered after the end of the year. And my thought was it was going to kind of pause and then move higher. So again, in hindsight, probably not the ideal entry for this strategy, but by sticking to the trade rules, we were able to exit without a larger loss. So if the stock had continued down, we'd be out of the trade and redeploying our capital. The other thing that's important for me is if you have a stop loss level, it really takes all the emotion or the nervousness out of exiting a trade. You just simply get out if it moves beyond your level. And again, selling the calls reduced the stock loss by 33%. So that is the summary of 2 trades that I did this week. We weathered, I guess, the storm pretty well. And anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this and got something out of it. If you have any comments or feedback, I'd love to hear from you. If you want to get any information about our trading group, it's the conservativecoveredcalls.com. Hope everybody has a great day.